Mother and her beau, Charles, drove me from scary New York City to the serene countryside of Bucks County. After passing through the charming town of New Hope, we traveled up a hill lined with oak trees and arrived at a beautiful farmhouse and barn that had become Soulberry, a co-ed boarding school. A blue and white sign swung gently at the entrance. This sign marked not only the entrance to a wonderful school, but the entrance to a whole new life for me. It was there that I met James MacArthur. He was stocky, with sensitive blue eyes and sandy-colored curly hair. I heard that his mother, Helen Hayes, was a famous Broadway actress, but I only knew about movie stars, so her name didn't mean much to me. When Miss Hayes arrived at school with her sullen but wickedly good-looking son, I was invited to join them at lunch because I was in the drama club. I expected Miss Hayes to arrive wearing dark sunglasses, carrying a cigarette holder, and draped in a mink coat. Instead, Mrs. MacArthur looked rather ordinary, not glamorous, not sophisticated, but like any other mother. I was much more fascinated with her son. Jimmy was 14 and would be in my class. It didn't take me long, however, to realize that Jimmy was a perfect jerk, sometimes perfect and sometimes a jerk. Our English teacher was a mousy, soft-spoken young woman. Jim, wanting to endear himself to his new classmates, decided to pull a mean-spirited prank on her. When she tried to stand and write on the blackboard, she found she was stuck in her chair. Jimmy had put glue on her seat. The teacher kept trying to pull herself up. When she finally freed herself from the sticky mess, she ran from the classroom in tears. Stunned with rage towards the perpetrator, I looked over at Jimmy, who was at his desk writing feverishly. When he finished, he passed around a note of apology for each of us to sign. Everyone's signature appeared on the note, save one. Jimmy MacArthur. One of his tricks was offering candy his mom had sent him. Just as I reached for a piece, he'd pull the box away. I decided Jimmy MacArthur was too immature for me. After all, I was dating an upperclassman, Michael Lane, who was 16, popular, and president of his class. He had a crew cut, and when he dressed up, he wore bow ties. As Mike's girlfriend, I became the envy of the girls in my class and his. I had always been in school plays from my earliest days. Although I could barely read, my parts had more meaning to me than the words in textbooks, and I was motivated to memorize my lines. My dyslexia, unrecognized until many years later, meant that I was a very slow reader. I mispronounced many words, and my spelling was a disaster. But when the drama club announced tryouts for the play The Birthday of the Infanta, I asked a teacher for help with some of the words. Then I went to my room and studied way past lights out with a flashlight under the sheets. I said the lines over and over again, and before I knew it, the sun was up. I desperately wanted the role of the court jester, the one who gives the moon to the princess for her birthday. That afternoon, standing in the hall of the old gym, waiting for my turn to try out, I heard the others read for the role. It seemed they recited without heart, just reading lines. I told myself, I will be the court jester the minute I walk into the gym floor. The edges of the playbook were wet with perspiration from my nervous hands, but I had memorized every word. When I heard my name, my knees almost buckled. I dropped my playbook, picked it up, took a deep breath before I walked in to face the drama coach, who was seated at a table. There was a pause, silence, And then I did a somersault, leaped up, and right before her eyes became the gesture.